Okay, so right back, and this way you can see everything the right way, not opposite of how it should be. Okay, so power options is what you want to go down. You want to hold the PS button and controller long enough until you get to this screen. Come all the way down to power options, hit that. Turn off PS4. And prepare to turn off the PS4. Okay, there we go. Got that part handled. Now what I really want to do, see, that's how I like the face forward better, because I could actually see what I was looking at. Yes, my room's a mess, completely ignore that. I've been here like binge gaming for a while. You can see my footrest, kind of just comfy. Hours and hours of gaming demands comfort. I need to get a big gaming chair. But I, for the life of me, cannot get my girlfriend to co-sign on me putting that thing in our room. I actually tend to do most of the gaming in the room. It's the most comfortable place for me to play. And I actually went out of the way and got a second TV identical to this one in the living room so she can leave me alone while I game. It doesn't work that way. Promise you it doesn't. Okay, so let's see, get all my peripherals unplugged, keyboard, chargers. Let's get the PlayStation Eye. I'm doing all of this. Everything's gonna be plugged. Ethernet cable, HDMI, and finally power wire. You want to make sure that that strip right there is not lit up before you do that, or you can cause hardware corruption, which means you'll have to reformat the whole thing when you launch it again. And it's not worth it. I've actually been neglecting cleaning this thing. Even though I try to get to it once a month, for whatever reason, this apartment gets really dusty and it's very annoying. Okay, so most people probably realize that this little plastic cover pops right off like that, but we don't have to mess with that today. Why did you just beep? That was not, it had a residual juice left in it. Okay, so what you're going to want to be looking at, that was horrible. Okay, so you want to look at these little covers right here. You have one here, 2, 3, 4, and I believe that is it for all of the screws that hold it on. And I'm thinking that the only part that actually has to come off is the bottom. So I'm gonna try starting. If that's a solid piece or not, that is actually a really good question. I'm kind of figuring this out as I go too, guys, so you're gonna have to bear with me for a bit. Let's see. Okay, aim this here, and I'm going to sit this right there for now. Sorry if you can't see anything at all. I will be right back. Matter of fact, there is a pause button. Okay, I'm gonna pause it, come right back to it. Okay, so now you can see that I have actually gotten these things off, and it only took me like a minute or two, so it hasn't been that much of a time lapse between when the camera's on and the camera's off. And what I ended up doing was just using a pocket knife. I wouldn't recommend that. Use a pick if you have one. I have picks, but they're also in my toolbox. And I was kind of trying to keep this process going because I really want to get back to my games. And what this looks like is a couple of T8s or T9s. So, and for the people who aren't familiar with those, they're called Torx bits. Yeah, I guess you call it a Torx bit. They're a Torx bit, and the particular size rating on it, they go by T ratings, and this one is I'm gonna guess it's a T7 to a T10. I'm gonna go with the T8 first and try that one out, and let's see where it gets me. Okay, so I am going to sit this thing right up here, and now I don't know how good of a view that actually gives. See, this view would be better. That is nothing, so I can't do that. Okay. Guess I'm gonna have to one-hand this. Let's try that out. Alright, so we have for now. Let's grab this little driver and trying to find my actual T8 in here because they put it in the box, but they did not decide to go ahead and put it label side up like I prefer to put all of my tools. So I can get this thing to freaking zoom in. You can kind of see what your Torx bits look like. They're the ones that look like this. Little star drivers. Alright. So, where are you? Let's see. I'll try this one, see what size you are. T9, I grabbed pretty close. Let's see if a T9 does it or not. And the T9 is looking like a fairly snug fit. Might be too big. No. Yeah, T9 seems to do it. Sorry, I blocked that out entirely. Okay, I'm gonna set this right about here and try this. Okay. Huh. Not magnetically attached, nor does it. Oh, it does lock in. Okay, that's better. So I'd say that's kind of not the quality I was expecting from these guys. I'm starting to feel like this T9 may actually be a little too big. So I'm getting ready to switch. Oh, I don't want to lose you, and that's why I'm doing it on the bed, because this bed is a very, my bed sheets are light color. Black screws that tend to stand out on something like that. Let's go ahead and try this T8 instead and see if that gives me a more flush fit. Actually, no, it's not. It's a T9. So T8 definitely too loose. I wouldn't want to strip these out. Definitely use the right size. I mean, if you're desperate, you're desperate. But seeing as I'm not, and I have one that worked prior, let's try it. These things have almost no torque whatsoever on them. But I suppose so. They're really, really small. Okay, next one. I'm kind of messing up my angle by leaving it here, so let's hold that like this. Okay, got this one out. Okay, why would you be the difficult one, huh? Not really understand. I'm thinking that the paint that they use, they made them and coated with paint, and I'm thinking that the paint is what's affecting the actual fit. So I'm gonna try to go down to a slightly smaller size in the T8 and see if this one fits it better. And the answer is also no. What did they do? Oh, I see. They have a bit of a security. Better look at that. See that? Seems to be a little bit of security prong in the center of this thing. Hold up, I want to set this up here for a second. Yeah, and there really does seem to be a security hole in the middle of these things. Wow, Sony really did not want anyone else fixing these things. Alright. So let's try it again. And that may have been the reason for all of the slipping earlier. Sorry if I was like completely fuddling that one up. Let's see. Technical difficulties. Okay, I want to pause and come right back to this. Okay, so it didn't take that long once I had two hands to actually do the thing. Okay, and you can see you can put a little bit of leverage on it, and you want to come up at it from the sides, I would assume, and not this flimsier back panel. And you are really in there. Am I missing some screws? Yeah, I'm pretty sure my girl would agree with that one. Let's make sure that nothing anywhere else is odd or out of place. And so far it is a no, but I'm gonna go back to two-handing this thing and pass down the info I get from it. And wouldn't you know, it wasn't that much of a deal. It's just, you really see this lip? It is a very small lip they have right there. See that? Very small lip. So what you want to do is you want to gently press on it from right here. Gentle but firm at the same time. I know that's very contradictory, but same thing on the opposite side. And now that we have this open, I am going to go ahead and see what I have going on in here. And look at the dust. Okay, I'm gonna clean some of this dust out so it doesn't get all over my bed and I don't get stabbed by my girl. Let's try this out. Give me a second. Okay, so now you can see I've gotten most of that mess cleaned off, and look at this buildup on the GPU fan blades. So that would cause a lot of thermal throttling right there. Probably a good idea to get this open every so often. I would recommend only doing this if your PlayStation is out of warranty. Let me say this again. Only out of warranty, and I am not responsible for any damages you may do to your PS4 if you attempt this. I'm doing this because what's broke is broke to me, and warranty won't cover it. I bought it on launch day. It's no longer covered. So I'm going to try to get this handled myself, and I'm looking at this wire, and familiar to cars as I am, I'm gonna assume that this would be front side. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be your Bluetooth antenna. I mean, they even look the same inside of cars and pretty similar even for the navigation antennas, except they're actual larger antenna. So let's see what I have here. See a couple more T9s to get out of there, T9 security screws, and I am going to clean this GPU out. I'm gonna clean that GPU fan out because that is terrible and that's gonna hurt performance. There's no way around that. So I'm gonna come right back to that part. Okay, so what you guys are gonna see me using, regular good old-fashioned Q-tips. Make sure you get the ones with the pretty rigid stem on it. Don't get the extra cheap flimsy ones. I mean, you shouldn't have those anyway, but if that's what you have, it's what you have. But I would definitely, look at this, I would definitely recommend getting a better brand because you don't want pieces of cotton falling off inside of your GPU or inside of your PlayStation, period. You have enough lint in there if you're getting to this step anyway. Should probably open this thing up more often and clean it out. Up until now, I really had no reason, and this is definitely a reason, so now I know I should constantly clean this thing. Okay, got that part. Come back after I've gotten this all spotted up so you guys don't have to watch me detail a fan. Okay, so at this point, I've cleaned the fan out pretty well. I just need to get in there with some compressed air, as you can see, and I cannot find my can of compressed air, so I'll pop this back open and do it again another day. So before you guys get going, make sure you have a can of compressed air. You can find it at pretty much any hardware store, anywhere, or any electronic store. They should carry some form or shape of compressed air. But this here, right there, that's your culprit. That's your disk drive. That's what's making the weird sounding noise when you're putting your disk in and also causing that unrecognizable issue. So you want to pull this piece out, and you're going to have a screw that goes here, a screw that goes right there, and a screw that goes here. Now, me being the genius that I am, I went to the parts store and I grabbed this Husky set thinking normal Torx. It's a security Torx setup which has a little pin in the top of the actual head. I don't know if you guys will actually be able to get a focus on that. Let's try. Okay. See that little pin? It prevents you from using a normal Torx, which means Sony really didn't want anyone messing with this, which is kind of, you know, they want you to pay them to do it, which you really don't have to if it's that simple. Okay, so what I ended up using, since I couldn't get the bit I had, and that was causing all that slippage earlier, was this. Good old-fashioned. Let's see. Okay, you focus on the right thing. 330 seconds. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a 330 seconds flathead. It goes right past those security bolts. I've seen it before, so I kind of knew what to grab to get it to work. So I've gotten the screws out. If you guys want to skip that hassle, get the Torx security set. That'll work just as well, if not better for you. Now, this here is your Bluetooth antenna. You want to take that out of the way. Okay, so see the little pin it goes right back into? Boom, lines it up. It's alright. You can take that, set it off to the side. Actually, I'm going to sit it here because I don't want to just dangle. Alright, so now should be the easy part. This should just come right out. But then again, easy usually isn't as easy as you think it is. Who else do we have holding you down? Okay. Let's pause for a second, get my second hand back on it, and I'll give you guys another input on this. Okay, so what you want to do, seeing as if you're doing this by yourself, see that right there? There's a groove here. Put your hand in this area right there. Gently lift up. You will hear some noises. Actually, you know what would be smart? Probably would be to unplug this cable first. So, let's give this a second. And with a little bit of wiggling, this cable here, so you guys some better light. This cable right here runs there. Just a little bit of wiggling on it, left to right with a little bit of backwards pulling it. Comes right out. Pretty simple, straightforward push-in connector. Okay, so we've gotten that out of the way. Let's grab this. Hey, it might be nice if I had to take you out too, huh? See that? Completely missed the boat there. That could have gone really bad. That's why if you're feeling a pull on something, you're not really sure why, you should definitely check out your work and just don't be overconfident. I mean, you're not likely to catch everything on the first time. I was under the assumption that it was only 3, and what I'm seeing is there is indeed a 4th for one reason or another, and I'm not sure really if that has to come out, but I will just to see. Okay. Okay, so at this point I have gotten it out. Set it like this for you guys. I actually went through a bit more than I thought I was going to have to. I took this protective metal cover off, which probably isn't the best of ideas, but it just made it easy for me to get it out without having to worry about bending this whole thing up. Let's do that. And also there's one more screw. It sits right down in there. See that hole right there? I'm gonna zoom out so you can see where that is. Okay. There was one more in there. And there's a bit of a pain to get out, so I would definitely recommend getting the torque security, the actual torque security bits themselves, and not trying to use the regular torques, because it's making this a much longer job than what I expected. So let's try to get this thing here fixed. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab it, flip it over, be careful not to overstretch that cable. You want to see it right here, and you can see there are a whole bunch of mechanisms in working this thing. It's not as simple on the inside of these things a lot of people would tend to think, but you can see a screw here, the screw right there, and there should be one more view right there. Okay, so that's your 3 screws you want to get out. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna switch back to my 00. Let's grab that. Okay. First Phillips out. Sit you separately from the other ones. Second Phillips coming out. And finally, third Phillips. Now you can see this one roller. Actually, I see both of the rollers are in place. And I wondered if that middle roller is still there. Which they factored magnetic. I wasn't trusting them to be that way, but okay. $9 you weren't expecting. I really wasn't expecting magnetic. Okay, so I've got that part handled. Let's sit this right about here. I'm not sure how that angle looks. Let's see. Okay, that should be a pretty good angle to catch me at. So let's try to figure out. Oh, and here she comes. That easy. See, there's a clip on this side to avoid, and open she comes. Okay, let's see what I got here. I'm basically looking for any bent or damaged mechanisms on the inside of this feeding tray. So far, I'm not really seeing anything. Let's see. And there she goes. This one is completely flush. Why are you not saying flush? That's not in place. Okay. So I can see that these rollers are a little bit dirty. One of them actually has some peeling on it, like it's been scuffed or something. So what you want to do is take this one here out first. Oh, come on, I'll be that stubborn. Okay, a little bit of fitting here. That's one piece out. I'm getting there. Clean the rollers, and what you want to use to clean them is good old-fashioned rubbing alcohol. Let's see. This one seems to be full bar. And I cannot tell you why it gave out in this particular way. I can see that it's dusty. I can definitely tell you that. Very, very dusty. Okay, this roller here needs to actually come out too. Try to line them up, but I actually think I'm going to clean that out as well. Okay, tighten that out of place. And we actually make this out pretty dirty. This one here actually has a scuff mark right about there. And usually this is the culprit that's out of place, and it was there. It's just that the alignment on the entire tray wasn't correct, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it there. So I'm in the right area. I'm just trying to make sure not to put any fingerprints on the laser. And also try to line this thing back up correctly. Okay, so that's where you go. And I am literally figuring this out as I go, so you guys are in this one with me. Okay? Okay. Well, that's a lot better than what it was earlier. It was pivoting wrong on, geez, I got this thing upside down and then flipped it this way. So the back this way, so it was pivoting wrong on what would be you or where. So it'll be closer to the left side of the tray. I think you guys are right. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. But yeah, this thing here definitely needs to be cleaned. And simply locks it in like, oh, I see you are free floating too, aren't you? You're not supposed to be doing that. Be very careful with that wire. It is very thin, and I am not sure what the repercussions of breaking it would mean. Well, I'm pretty sure it probably wouldn't let me play the game anymore. Wouldn't be too happy about that. So, show me that.